Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. So, since the year is ending, I thought that this time in the podcast, I just talk about my highlights of the past year and basically what that looked like for me. मैंने क्या किया, मैंने क्या नहीं किया, कौन सी चीज़ें हुई, एक रिकैप नहीं होती पिछले साल की, वो मैंने कहा आपके साथ आज शेयर कर लूँ। ज़ाहिर है ये साल बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट था। इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट ईयर्स ऑफ माई लाइफ। आई थिंक मेरी ज़िंदगी का सबसे सबसे थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट मे बी लाइफ चेंजिंग ईयर्स ऑफ माई लाइफ। आई थिंक द मोस्ट लाइफ चेंजिंग ईयर ऑफ माई लाइफ, बिकॉज ज़ाहिर है इस साल मैं एक माँ बन गई, मेरा एक बच्चा हुआ। एंड आई थिंक आपकी लाइफ एक होती है बिफोर दैट और एक लाइफ होती है आफ्टर दैट। यू चेंज अ लॉट एज अ पर्सन व्हेन यू बिकम अ मदर, ऑफ कोर्स, एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट एज अ पर्सन, लाइक योर होल लाइफ चेंजेस, अभी कुछ अर्सा पहले, कुछ दिनों पहले मैं अपनी नन से बात कर रही थी अबाउट द सेम थिंग कि जब आप माँ बन जाते हो तो आप कितना चेंज हो जाते हो। और वो यही कही थी कि हाँ, यू चेंज अ लॉट एज अ पर्सन। और ये हर किसी के लिए मुख्तलिफ हो सकता है। जैसे उन्होंने बोला कि वो अब सोचती हैं कि जब वो माँ बन गई तो वो रिफ़्लेक्ट करती हैं कि उनके पास कितना टाइम होता था लाइफ में पहले, और उन्होंने उसको कैसे इस्तेमाल शायद नहीं किया। कि मतलब उस वक्त पता नहीं था कि ज़िंदगी में और एक दिन में आपके पास कितना टाइम होता है। बिकॉज़ जब आप माँ बन जाते हो तो आपके पास इतना कुछ करने को होता है कि आपका दिन, एवरी सेकेंड ऑफ योर डे इज़ फिल्ड विद डूइंग समथिंग, एंड शी सेड कि पहले नाउ शी फील्स कि मैंने कभी रियलाइज़ ही नहीं किया ओ मेरे पास वाकई इतना टाइम था और उसमें मैं क्या कुछ कर सकती थी। उस वक्त ये सोचा ही नहीं। अब रियलाइज़ होता है कि वाकई इतना टाइम होता है, क्योंकि अगर वो एक दिन में इतना कुछ कर सकती हैं तो पहले भी कर सकती थी। और मैंने भी सोचा अपने बारे में कि हाउ माई लाइफ चेंज्ड, और उसमें एक जो चीज़ थी वो मेरे लिए शायद थोड़ी सी शायद ऑपोजिट थी, क्योंकि मैं पहले बहुत कुछ करती थी। मतलब मेरा एक दिन जब सुबह से शुरू होता था रात तक, वो एक चीज़ होती थी, और देयर वॉज नो स्लोइंग डाउन। मेरे लिए ऑपोजिट हुआ व्हेन आई हैड अ बेबी। It really slowed my life down, in the sense that I had to slow down. I had to take a break from everything and I had to focus on being a mother. और वो जो चीज़ थी ना, of being present as a mom, or just not doing any work besides being a mom, that really slowed my life down, क्योंकि मैं सुबह उठती थी और बच्चे का एक ही रूटीन और मेरा एक ही रूटीन। इनफैक्ट मुझे इससे पहले आई डिड नॉट इवन वॉच टीवी, बट जब मेरा बच्चा हुआ तो मुझे थोड़ा सा टाइम मिल जाता था कि अच्छा, कि जब वो नैप कर रहा है तो मैं टीवी देख लूँ या रेस्ट कर लूँ या रिलैक्स कर लूँ। एंड आई थिंक दैट्स मेनली बिकॉज मैंने उस टाइम पे किसी और चीज़ को अपनी इतनी प्रायोरिटी नहीं बनाई या इतना हावी ही नहीं किया. So for me, it was just, me and my baby and my motherhood and things I have to do with my baby. So it really slowed down the life for me, because it was all about being present with my child. And especially in the start, it's quite mundane. It's the same thing. Nap, feed, burp, nap, feed, burp. So it automatically really slowed my life down. And I know that now, जैसे जैसे मेरा बच्चा बड़ा होगा, सो और बहुत सारी चीज़ें शुरू हो जाएंगी, एंड अगेन इट विल बी लाइक अ फास्ट पेस्ड लाइफ. बट फॉर मी दिस ईयर was much slower than before. 2019 was too fast. 2020 was slowed down a bit because of COVID. But by the end, it became super fast. And 2021, post having a baby, yani post March, really slowed down. So if I look back, January to February, because Rafa was born on 2nd March. So January or February, were really fast क्योंकि we had launched 2 planners at Inspire Me, जो कि मेरा दूसरा छोटा बिजनेस है. उसमें मैंने 2 planners लॉन्च किए थे, यानी 2 प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च किए थे. तो उसका बहुत ज़्यादा काम था. और क्योंकि मैं मार्च में बेबी होना था और मैं ब्रेक पे जाने लगी थी ज़ाहिर है काम से, तो मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा हैप्पी चिप की पॉडकास्ट रिकॉर्ड की थी. मतलब दिन में मैं शायद 2 पॉडकास्ट रिकॉर्ड करती थी और हर रोज़ के हिसाब से कर रही थी. एंड इवन ऑन द डे दैट आई हैड माई बेबी आई वॉज रिकॉर्डिंग अ पॉडकास्ट दैट मॉर्निंग. सो हाँ, मतलब इट वॉज क्वाइट a lot, January and February. But post March, when I had the baby, my life थोड़ी slowed down हुई. And I think for me this year was obviously about motherhood and that understanding motherhood and that change in my life. I think if I was to talk about the most proud moment, not moment, but the thing that I'm most proud of that I've done this year, that has to be so see, like when my baby was born, I really struggled with breastfeeding because he had a tongue tie. So वो latch नहीं कर पाता था on the breast and he couldn't take milk from it, which is why I did exclusive pumping. So मैं formula भी नहीं दे रही थी और ना मैं direct nurse कर रही थी. So I pumped. And 7 months I exclusively pumped for my baby. And it was a very, very difficult thing to do, especially start में, because you know when you are pumping, you have to pump every 2 hours. ठीक है, वरना ये होता है कि whatever the baby demands, आप उस हिसाब से nurse करते हैं अपने बच्चे को, right? जिसमें a lot of the times it's like sometimes, you know, they go up to 3 hours, but when and you basically आपका demand, sorry, आपका supply build हो जाता है on the baby's needs. But in the start, because the baby is not directly latching, you have to like pump every 2 hours. And जब आप direct nurse कर रहे हो, तो even if you are feeding every 2 hours or every 1.5 hours, you're nursing the baby. But with pumping, it's like you pump after every 2 hours, and then you feed every 2 hours also, then you wash the parts every 2 hours also. So it's like 3 things instead of जो total एक काम हो सकता था जो directly feeding था. But when you're pumping, तो आप 3 चीज़ें कर रहे होते हो. So every 2 hours I would wake up and pump, and I would feed the baby, and then I would wash the parts. And by the time I would go to sleep, the baby would be up in another 45-50 minutes. यही time रह जाता था. So I think I'm very proud of breastfeeding my baby. I know that for a lot of people this is probably not a big deal, but for me it was. But an even bigger thing for me was that I didn't just pump for my own baby, I pumped for another baby. So there was this case of a mother and baby, और उनके साथ हुआ ये था कि she contracted COVID and she was not full term when she contracted COVID, and it was important that they had to take the baby out. So उनको जो है उन्होंने C-section से उनका baby deliver हुआ, and because she was unwell, so she could not tend to her baby during obviously being hospitalized with COVID. She had a very severe case of COVID. So उनका जो बेबी था वो NICU में था और वो ख़ुद भी हॉस्पिटलाइज थी विद अ वेरी सिवियर केस ऑफ कोविड. एंड उनके बेबी की सिचुएशन ये थी कि दे नीडेड breast milk for the baby, not formula. So I was one of the donors. So I used to pump for my own baby and I used to pump for him as well. And I think fed him for quite a few months. Start में for a very long time I was the sole donor. And then ज़ाहिर है मेरी अपनी बेबी की डिमांड्स बढ़ना शुरू हो गई, and I could not keep up with the demands of both the babies, you know. So then they arranged a second donor as well, and I think eventually a third donor. But for the longest time, I was the only donor for that baby, and I just feel really proud of myself today for doing that. It was a lot of work, but it was totally worth it. And it was just something that, like, I couldn't even imagine कि अगर मेरे साथ होता. And I even decided that if the breast milk is not enough for both the babies, then I'll stop feeding my own and switch him to formula. But I will continue to give her baby my milk because he needed it more. I knew that he needed it more because alhamdulillah मेरा बेटा healthy है, thriving है. उसको अगर मैं formula पे shift भी कर दूँ तो it's all right. But her son really, really, really needed that milk for his survival. So that is something that I did, and I am so proud of that. And I really do rank it as my top achievement for this year. So yeah, and uske alawa my in-laws, they came back after 2 years is saal mein, and I personally feel that one of the greatest things that happened this year was that I became so much closer to them. My connection or bond with them became so much better. I think over time, it's a natural thing. आपको किसी भी relationship में time लगता है. And जब वो वापस आए, and then we got to spend more time with them, ज़ाहिर है relationship और improve हुई. Then my sister-in-law came from the US and 2 of my nieces as well. So वो relationships भी ज़्यादा बड़ी और बेहतर हुई. So I think I'm really, really grateful for that this year as well, for more relationships and better relationships. And I met my brother this year after a long time as well, after COVID. And he was right in the middle of it. So he was in Spain, और Spain में COVID बहुत बुरा था. So 2021 में जब मेरा बेटा पैदा हुआ, so my brother visited and he got to see my son. We got to spend time together. So that was a really important part of this year. I think for me, this year was very family oriented, and I'm so grateful for that. Actually, that's how I planned my life, and that's how it works out itself also. So every time it's out there, I have a very focused professional year, then I have a very family year, then I have a very professional focused year, and then I have a very family year. मैं हर साल ऐसे ही करती हूँ. So this साल was like truly and solely about, I think, connecting with family. Is saal I actually got to spend a lot of time with my mother as well. Going over, staying with her. That was really nice. I've spent a lot of time with her and my sister also. So yeah, I think the one thing that I'm truly grateful for this year are relationships and family. And the one thing that I'm proud of is what I told you. So yeah, that. And highlight of my year has to be the birth of my son and everything that has to do with him. I have enjoyed motherhood so much, alhamdulillah. I can't be more grateful for it. Obviously it's tough, but I think the amount of joy and enjoyment that I've had with it, it surpasses it all. मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया है. I struggled with work, sure, but I loved being a mother, and maybe that's why I struggled with work, because my heart and my mind was always, in being a mom, and I was more present as a mom. I was more into the role of being a mother, and I just loved everything about it. And I'm also like, जब मैं सोचती हूँ तो मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि that's how I did it. Like I have no regrets of this year कि मैं ये नहीं कर पाई, मैं वो नहीं कर पाई, क्योंकि मैं अगर लिस्ट डाउन करना शुरू करूँ चीज़ें जो मैं इस साल नहीं कर पाई, वो इतनी ज़्यादा हैं कि मैं आपको बता नहीं सकती. Everything that I planned and everything that didn't happen. But like in hindsight, like I said, I don't regret it because I enjoyed my motherhood tons, and it was just I followed my heart, so that's why I don't really have regrets. Most of the time, like I did want to, I wasn't able to do things in other areas in my life because I truly did want to spend my time इन दैट रोल, इन द मदरहुड रोल. और मैं उसको इन्जॉय बहुत ज़्यादा करती थी. और जब मैं काम करती भी थी तब भी मेरा दिमाग और मेरा दिल जो है वो उधर ही होता था. सो या, एंड एवरी टाइम दैट आई फेल्ट, जिसको लोग मॉम गिल्ट कहते हैं, जिसके ऊपर मैं मे बी एक और बात करूँगी लेटर, वॉज आई हार्डली फेल्ट गिल्टी if I did some work, or if I left my baby with somebody to do work, or when I hired help, I felt grief more, because dekho, you feel guilty when you do something wrong. Working, there's nothing wrong in working, there's nothing wrong in doing anything for yourself. But I was very attached to my baby and I really enjoyed my time with him. So I would be more sad than guilty when I wasn't doing that, because I would miss him, and I would actually grieve that I wasn't with him today. It wasn't guilt, it was never guilt. So mom guilt is something that I think I've hardly felt. Maybe one or two times when I wasn't able to, I don't know actually. I remember जो पहली दफ़ा मैं अपने बेबी को का बेड टाइम ख़ुद नहीं करा पाई थी, और वो नैनी ने कराया था, और मैं घर आई थी और वो सो चुका था, बिकॉज मैं हर रोज़ हमेशा खुद ही कराती थी. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम कि मैंने ख़ुद नहीं कराया, और मैं रोई. एंड I wasn't guilty because there was nothing to be guilty of. He was well taken care of. He went to sleep on time. So that's actually a good thing. Guilt would have come in maybe कि अगर उसका bed time late हो गया होता मेरी वजह से, या he wasn't well taken care of. But I cried because I grieved, कि oh, मेरा ये moment और ये time that I really enjoy with him and I enjoy putting him to sleep, वो miss हो गया. Most of the time, I think we grieve more then we feel guilty, because nothing went wrong, like in this process. I was able to do what I needed to do. The baby was well taken care of and slept on time. I was just missing that time that I have with him every day. So, yeah, that's why I guess the highlight of my year was motherhood. So I told you guys my highlight. I told you guys my proudest feat. I told you guys what I'm grateful for. What else? What I could have improved maybe. I think, I don't know. I don't know if I could have done that this year better, but I know that I have to make it better next year, is live a healthier, and it's not just healthier, live a more disciplined or organized lifestyle, because that's who I am at the core. I am a very disciplined and organized person अंदर से. लेकिन जब मेरा बच्चा हुआ, so that really went down the drain, because it's really tough to be a disciplined and organized person when you have a child, and then when you have work, तो आपकी life थोड़ी ना बस random हो जाती है. It's like lots happening, and you can't keep up with being a disciplined person, especially with like your lack of sleep, lack of routine, your life revolving around your child. You do lack discipline in your life. So definitely what I want to improve next year, work on next year. This year, I remember one too many times I called myself a loser and a total wreck for not being disciplined and organized. But then I soon realized that this is not something that I can do right now, and I will forgive myself for being a total wreck. But next year, I don't want to go in with the same thing next year. I have realized कि हाँ, हर चीज़ की एक लिमिट भी होती है कि if you want to live your life a certain way, you have to work for it. And I want to live my life in a more disciplined and organized fashion. So, while I forgave myself this year and I decided to be kind to myself about it, there's a limit. You don't overdo. You don't make it an excuse for the rest of your life. कि जो आपके circumstances होते हैं, जो कि difficult होते हैं कभी कभार, जिस तरह मेरे थे, and I couldn't live in an organized life, but that circumstance is something that I can't carry with myself always, कि I have a child, because I will always inshallah, have a child, and maybe inshallah more children in future. So I can't live my life always like this. I have to get that shit together. So next year I plan to do my best, and while taking all things that I can control under my control, and live a more disciplined and organized life, because that's who I am at the core. And if I'm not living a disciplined and organized life, I don't feel good, you know. So that is something that I truly want to improve. So I think next year, that is my main goal, to get it together, and not make that an excuse, not make um, my circumstances an excuse for not living that sort of a life, and start showing up as the woman that I want to be. So, this was my year, and these were some things that I wanted to share with you. Maybe I will continue to share a bit more about the past year through December, because I think that's what December is about. And it's really important to reflect. I think reflection is such an important part of who I am. Anybody who's been following me from the start knows this about me, that I'm all about that stuff. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would really like कि आप लोग नीचे comments में leave your highlights, your proudest moments or achievements of this year, and what you are most grateful for in the comments below. I'd love to read that, and I'd love to reply to those as well. So please do leave that in the comment. And thank you so much for watching. Allah Hafiz.